Hello everyone, welcome to Basically Netta. I'm Netta, and in this video I'm going to review His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. So I finally finished this book. It took me a month because I will tell you why. I've been reading it very slowly. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, here's my review about it. Yeah, here's the synopsis. I'm not going to go into spoilers. I try not to go into spoilers, but if you feel like you don't want to hear any of it, then go ahead and go watch something else. This is my review of it. I finished it, and I'm going to tell you what I liked and what I didn't like about it. So His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik is a historical fantasy novel that takes place during the Napoleonic War, and this kind of warfare is with dragons. Both sides have dragons. Both English and French have dragons. And we start the story with Captain Will Lawrence, who is the captain of the Navy for the British side. And he captures him and his crew capture a French ship, and on that ship there's a dragon egg, and this egg hatches, and the egg is a dragon's egg, so the dragon bonds with Captain Lawrence and wants him to be his rider instead of the crew member that was picked. And so Captain Lawrence ends up leaving the Navy and going to be an aviator, as they call it still. Apparently, at that point, they knew what aviators mean. I mean, 18th century, they didn't have airships, which is planes. But let's go with that. So he goes to the town where all the dragons and the riders are being trained, and they get trained there. Meanwhile, we learn about their relationship, Captain Lawrence's relationship with the dragon called Temeraire. He calls him Temeraire based on another ship. All these historical situations that are there are very accurate in some ways, but then it's loosely based on history. So we follow Captain Lawrence mostly. The story is written in first and third person, yet we follow Captain Lawrence for all the story. And we see most of the story and perspectives of it through his eyes. The only part that we don't get is the conversation that he has with other people that are not really through his eyes. They're speaking and he's speaking, and that's the only part that we don't get through his eyes. Captain Lawrence is not a very fun character for me. This book was very biased in my opinion. It was like we are getting the Captain Lawrence's perspective, and we don't see anybody else's perspective. Everybody's out to get Captain Lawrence, and Captain Lawrence is the best person kind of way. And yeah, so I think at this point we're getting to the parts where I like and I don't like. So I'm just going to tell you what I did like. So I like the fact that it was a historical fantasy about Napoleonic War, and it has dragons fighting dragons, and we were learning about different types of dragons. And it's, those parts were interesting. And the relationship between Temeraire and Captain Lawrence is a bit interesting in the way of like it's supposed to be more of like a pet and owner kind of thing, but it's something between that and son and fatherly like kind of thing, which kind of like was okay, but it also was in the borderline of like not being okay. I mean, this book is setting up for the whole story, the whole series, so maybe my perspective of it will be a bit different if I do read the rest of it, but I don't know if I want to read the rest of it. Yeah, here's what got to me. Okay, so the book is written in a way that it is the point of view of an 1800s writer. Like the writing is written in that form, like in that style of writing. Like if you were reading Jane Austen's novels or something like that. But the problem is that it is about a British Navy captain, yet the writing is in American spelling. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, maybe the UK version is different, but maybe it's just it got on my nerves. I'm like, I'm reading a book about a British Navy captain, and it's about the British part of the Napoleonic War. And then it's written in American spelling. Like if you're gonna write it in the 18th century British story, write it in the British spelling. I was like, okay, where's the U in the color? Where's the U in the favorite? Where I was like, honestly, if you're going to write it, at least write it in that perspective and write it in that form of writing. That's just me. Might be different for other people. If you're American, it probably doesn't care. Yeah, it's also, I bought this in Canada. Okay. Most of our spellings are closer to the British than the American. So let's just talk about how we're getting an American version of this, where the storyline is about a British person in a British style of writing. Okay, I'm done yelling about that part. I'm sorry. That just got on my nerves, and that's part of why it took me that long, because every time I would read and I'm just like, I think it's just the publishers marketing wise saying Canada as one of their states. We are not a state, okay? We're another country. Can we just stop getting American books? And can we get them the same way that the British get their own British? Anyways. The other part was the fact that Captain Lawrence is just a really bad character. He is just like, oh, I know everything. I have to do this. And like, he gets into other people's business as well. And it's just like, why? Why are you doing this? Obviously, other people are going to get mad at you. It's just, why? He was so like, he went off tangents about his emotions and how he didn't like this and how this was that, and I'm just like, can we get on with the plot? can we get on with the fact that you are getting information about Temeraire and his breed by the scholar? Can we get on with that? Can we get more information about that? It's just, it wasn't that, I just didn't like that part. And just, he just moans. Lawrence is always moaning about something that goes wrong, or he's always afraid of something that will happen to Temeraire, and it's just like, come on, can we get on with it? You were a seaman. How, like, you had no problem being on the sea with your crew and dealing with them. Like, when we first see him, he's just like this macho man and telling people, oh, okay, we have to do this. Oh, I understand that you have a family and blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you don't want to be the mark for the dragon, you don't have to be, and that kind of thing. And it's just like, what happened to that? Like, that was 2 seconds, and then he's all like this moaning character that I just hated him. I'm sorry. I like Temeraire, and that's the only reason why I finished this book. And I like the fact that we're getting dragons in this perspective, but I didn't like the main character. So it's just, I think Naomi Novik's writing is no longer for me. It was never for me. I read 2 of her other books, Spinning Silver and Uprooted. I didn't like either of them, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's because these are retellings, and I personally don't like retellings. But then I'm reading this, and I'm just like, okay, this is her style of writing that I don't like. I just don't like Naomi Novik's writing. With all that being said, if you like character-driven books with historical fiction and dragons, this is a book for you, if you like that. If you don't mind the American spelling in a British style of writing, then go ahead and read this. But I'm not gonna continue with this series. It just wasn't fun. It took me a month to finish. I decided to actually put it down for a week and just read something else and watch a lot of TV shows for the past week. And then I finally finished it. And I'm just like, I don't care. It was at the point where I got to the midpoint and I'm just like, do I care or do I not care? And the only reason why I continued reading was because I wanted to know more about what will happen to Temeraire. That's it. So it felt like a soap opera. Like if someone took Downton Abbey and made it Americanized and then put it in Americanized in the 18th century American and then put it into put some dragons in there just to make it interesting. I'm sorry, it just didn't work for me. So with that said, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. It's just me. If you liked it, that's good for you. You are fully welcome to have that conversation in the comments. Let people know what you like about it if you have read it, or if you also don't like it. Go ahead and talk in the comments about it and let's have a chat. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, please subscribe so you can get notified. And thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.